so out comes there. When I finish this technique, I'm going to stab him. He's probably going to block. He can't block with this hand because his bicep doesn't work anymore. Okay, so when he reaches up to block, I take all these fingers off. Okay, and then I have him anyway. If I do that technique slowly, bicep slash, fingers gone, throat. So if I apply that same technique to an empty hand technique, so I'm hitting him here, and as I follow through, he wants to block that. Now again, I can parry this technique. I've trapped both of these. I have a fist. Yeah, it's a great technique if I have a glove on, but this is very hard. His mouth is full of teeth and cut bones. So I might actually adapt the technique. So I do a good thing here, do this, now I can thumb gouge right here. Now I can fire this elbow. Now I can fire this knee, break here, fire another elbow. Translating empty hands from knife is a common thing we do in the Filipino martial arts. So if Roel will come and strike to me, common place for me to go and cut is to take his tricep here. I can then hook his arm, finger jab him, cut his bicep, and just cut his throat here. So you can see that one more time. So I'm parrying this, and because I have a knife, because I have a far superior weapon in his hand, I don't need to actually retain the distance that he would be attacking me. I can just fade out and use my reach here to take out the muscles that he's attacking me with. So no bicep, no tricep, no useful arm. So again, I'm taking this off, I'm taking this, and I'm cutting the bicep here. I tie this up and I can cut his throat and just hammer away at him this way. So if I remove the knife from the equation, when he comes to strike, I have the same technique here. I use my knuckles as a blade. I slam them into the ulnar nerve is right in here. You feel that happy little spot right there? So I can bash away at this. When I finish this technique, I'm wrenching this arm as I finger jab him. Then I take my bicep, hammer it into the spindle cell fibers of his bicep like this. Really unpleasant. And I can lock him up the same way. Now I don't have a knife. So now I change the technique a little bit so I can use my elbow. I'm hitting the temporal sphenoidal line on the side of the head. The suture is very vulnerable. Right behind it is the middle meningeal artery. Kill him. Okay, so right in here like this, I can do this. As I bring this in, because I don't have a knife in my hand, now when I bring this down, I can bring my shoulder up just so I can take this shoulder out. So I can destroy this arm. Then I can hit. From here, I can either throw him, I can go into a choke. But the empty hand technique, again, is derived from the knife. So if I have a knife that I have not opened, for example, in this belly song, I can use it in a closed way. So when he comes to strike me, now I have the pommel of the weapon. I still have the capacity to hook. I still have the capacity to hit here or here. When I finish this like this, I can either strike here or I can strike here. You feel how terrible that is. I also have his entire shoulder blade here. I can break it with this. I can also lock this in. You can feel how painful it is there. So each one of them and each permutation of a weapon can translate the technique a little bit differently. What I'm trying to learn to do is take the advantage of the weapon and apply it to the vulnerabilities of the target. So if we take another technique like that, I might take the bicep here. Another gunting means scissors. So I parry it and I slash his bicep right there. Very quick. He won't know it because I'm never going to show him my knife until it's coming out of him. Okay, so out comes there. When I finish this technique, I'm going to stab him. He's probably going to block. He can't block with this hand because his bicep doesn't work anymore. Okay, so when he reaches up to block, I take all these fingers off. Okay, and then I have him anyway. So if I do that technique slowly, bicep slash, fingers gone, throat. So if I apply that same technique to an empty hand technique, now, again, it's like I'm knocking on doors. Lots of ways I could do it. I could hammer fist it. I could hit like I'm knocking on a door. I hit that same bicep and you feel how joyful that is. Okay, so he's aiming for this. I'm going to control the distance and just gunting him right here. Sorry about that. So I'm hitting him here, and as I follow through, he wants to block that. Now again, I can parry this technique. I've trapped both of these. I have a fist. Yeah, it's a great technique if I have a glove on, but this is very hard. His mouth is full of teeth and cut bones. So I might actually adapt the technique. So I do a good thing here, do this, now I can thumb gouge right here. Now I can fire this elbow. Now I can fire this knee, break here, fire another elbow. So all of this is coming from the knife. So again, if I have the knife, I cut this bicep. I stab, I cut those fingers, and I stab again. Empty hand, I hit the bicep. Strike him here with my thumb, elbow him here, knee shot, elbow again. I can just keep kneeing and just keep dropping elbows on it. So all of this comes from the knife.